Hello, my name is Too Lazy to Level and currently I'm weak as heck. I am relying on all these Archons that I picked up along the way to deal with any of my problems. But recently I found out that my sister Lumine is in the bottom of Abyss, all the way down there. And it's time for me to become the strongest adventurer in Tevat, to reach down all the way to the bottom of the Abyss, to see what kind of information I can find. This is my journey to become the strongest adventurer in Genshin Impact. Hello and welcome to my first ever episode in my first ever series, where I am going to try and make this guy as strong as possible because he is regarded as one of the worst units in the game. But I generally think we can make the adventurer something special and make him hit quite hard and be quite useful. Now the goal of this series is to get to Abyss 12, but for that we need to have the Traveler in my party for all the content that we will be doing, and he will be inside of my party during Abyss 12. Now the Traveler has three forms. We have the Anemo form that we are seeing now, where he applies Great Swirl and he can even strip Anemo resistance as he has a unique strip on his ultimate. I think it's from his final constellation. Yeah, so he can reduce Anemo resistance. And he reduces the resistance of the corresponding element that gets absorbed. So he can double strip with the VV Swirl set, making his Anemo quite unique. And then there's the Geo set. Now the Geo Traveler is probably the hardest hitting Traveler of all of them, being able to place these rock structures down. This kit is mostly focused on applying geostructures that can deal reasonable damage around the Traveler, and quick swapping into him to cast his ultimate and his E skill, which have reasonably good multipliers. Also, I think some of the constellations here give him additional crit rate whenever you cast their ultimate. Might be a talent. Yeah, here we go. So your party gains additional crit rate whenever you cast your ultimate, I think. So this is a slight sub DPS Geo character. He's really good in the 4 Geo comp. And then there's the Electro Traveler, last of the bunch currently released. Now the Electro Traveler in short is just a reasonable battery, but he is the one I'm least excited about. His damage multipliers aren't that exciting, and he is mostly able to generate a reasonably large amount of energy for your team. His constellations do give him some nice buffs, etc. But all in all, he is mostly just a battery, and that is the purpose he fulfills as the Electro form. Now for this series, the form that we are going to use is going to be the Anemo form, or at least the first form that we are going to use to try and get my Traveler stronger. Now why would we resonate with Anemo? Well, I think all the Traveler's builds give him a sort of a sub DPS option. He isn't really a main DPS, and thus Anemo allows him to put down his unique elemental resistance strip while simultaneously stripping with the VV Swirl set. So for now, we're going to use Anemo Traveler to try and make him as strong as possible. We can always swap to a different option later. But first, we need a leveling montage because currently I'm level 50. So let's go! And now that we are maxed and are close to level 90 at 89, we can look at the build and how we want the Traveler to become stronger. Now I think there's a couple of points where I need to level up. First of all, the weapon choice. Now I think for Anemo Traveler the best weapon is probably the same as Kazuha, where we use Iron Sting. So I'm gonna try making Iron Sting for now, because even if I level it to max I can always use it on Kazuha when he eventually comes around. But I think it's best in slot for the Traveler. A good alternative would definitely be Aninoma Kaeguchi. Because it's got good energy recharge on the Traveler's ultimate. But for now we're gonna go for Iron Sting for the Elemental Mastery. So let's get one. It's the Forge, okay. Because the EM is nice, but the active can definitely still be used. Or the Traveler in this Anemo version only does that kind of damage. So let's slap this bad boy on. And then see how good he is with the Iron Sting. So it does look good on the character model itself. Let's see what we need to level this up for real quick. With the 20. And then we require, alright, these Rain of Arrows to die. Alright. Now let's get this weapon up as far as we can and then start testing out his abilities a little bit with a cheaper VV swirl set. Alright, let's keep it on 70 for now to test it out and see how it works. But the stats are already nice. Now for the artifact set, as you can see, I am farming a lot of Emblem of Severed Fate. But what we're gonna do is I'm going to grab my poor Sucrose, Sucrose is such a good unit, but unfortunately she is not a Traveler. And we're going to grab her set for now. Unfortunately, her set isn't very good. The equipment on the VV Swirl set, I've barely farmed the domain. It really doesn't do a lot for now. Let's see, do I have any of the VV pieces here? No, I don't. Alright, this will be the off slot then. As you can see, I don't really have that many good set pieces farmed. So artifact farming is going to be a big part of the series to try and get the Traveler to be as strong as possible. I would also like to have some elemental mastery in these if possible. So for now, let's grab a piece that has good elemental mastery on it. Elemental mastery, please. Poor Sucrose getting stripped for this. Alright, so now we have some sort of basis of a build. We can start testing the adventure with this. I would love to get some more crit rate, etc. on this. Let's enhance the artifacts a little bit so that the artifacts are in balance. Because I think we're running around with a +0 artifact and a +4 head. Now this artifact can be reasonably good actually. It just has to stop rolling into death percent or HP percent. So let's see where this goes. I have a lot of reserve artifacts left. So we will have to use a couple of blues. As this is currently patch 2.7. And during patch 2.6 there was a big delay. Alright, let's see. Energy recharge, that's really good. Now, depending on how hard the tornado hits, I actually think a crit rate hat or a crit rate crown would be better than a elemental mastery crown. So it would be nice if this would roll decently. Need crit damage and energy recharge on this bad boy. HP and death doesn't do anything for it. Let HP, pain, but at least if we get at least one more roll, either crit damage or energy recharge, it would already be quite nice. Let's get this enhancement going. With all these blue artifacts that I farmed throughout this Genshin delay. HP again. Is this worth pushing? 20. I'll put that to 16 for now, as I don't think it's that good of a piece with how often it's rolled on HP. And then this EM piece. This one is maxed, right? Oh no, it's 16. It's actually quite good. It's got a crit damage roll, I think 2 energy recharge rolls, and attack roll. So we will be maxing this out. To 20 slowly with all the blue pieces, as I have a jillion artifacts left over. Look at this gallery. This is what happens when there is a Genshin impact delay and you just farm domains and then leave to do other things. A lot of stuff from the chasm chests. The chests in the chasm really give a lot of enhancement materials. Right, we're almost there. And then at 20. Ah, flat defense. You were such a good piece. That's very unfortunate. But it's still alright. It's still good enough for now. You can definitely improve it on a later time, but it's quite reasonable. So let's look at our stats showing. So we're running around with 34 crit and 81 crit damage. It's not a lot, but at least it's something. 151 energy recharge. How much was the ultimate? So the ultimate requires 60 energy. Then I think 151 is fine. And then no Anemo damage increase, but how much? 381 elemental mastery. So this can be improved massively. But for the first episode, this will be the state of power that are a little too lazy to level us at for today. I think the next goal is definitely to upgrade this Iron Sting and farm the domain for that. And look at the talents. I can upgrade them a little bit from the base, but I'm completely out of these books, which are quite important for his talent trees. I will level his E up and his tornado skill. So the upcoming goals are to level my talents, my weapon to 90, and we need to start looking for some artifacts. But for now, let's test this power. And what is a better place to look than to begin with Abyss 9? For this episode, let's see how good the Traveler is at Abyss 9 in his current, little bit shabby, but still okay build. Now, I can get him carried through Abyss 9 easily with just using my good unit. But I want to see how effective he is. I'll be slotting him in the bottom team with Tartaglia and Xiangling, as I think he belongs in that team quite nicely. So we'll be using Tartaglia and Xiangling to proc a Vaporize reaction, have the Traveler reduce their resistances to everything, and use Bennett to get the Pyro Resonance while simultaneously helping out with the damage and healing. And then for the top team I have my very trustworthy team, as I don't have a lot of units properly built right now, as Hutao really needs some loving. And Ayaka is a recent pull. I'd love to use this. She's so fun. But for now we'll be using Eula Raiden. And then I can use Kujusara for the damage boost and Zhongli to just deal a ton of damage with these units. I can also use Diona as an alternative with Yeimiko for this. So let's go. Now I will be skipping straight to the adventurer part, because he is the main character of this show. Alright, so let's give him a spin. So first I would like to try and see how good we can swirl these enemies once they're affected by fire. It does give me good armor so that I don't get knocked out. Now Xiangling is of course making a quick mince of these enemies, but still. The E-hold skills damage is not pathetic, it ends at like 2k. It's not great either though. Now I don't think my tornado is that useful here. We can give it a shot. Use it with fire. Helps a little bit with vaporize the enemy, but for breaking Abyss Mage shields in its moving state, it's not really helpful. It is a little bit helpful when you're standing here to break it. Now the elemental mastery part where you strip the enemies with the VV set and the tornado worked pretty nicely, but let's look at what the Traveler can do with a larger group of enemies. So for a really small group he can strip their resistances and suck them together while making sure Pyro is applied to all of them. But let's clear these ads, the last few of them. Get our Taglia's E back and use a tornado. So yeah, the damage is very negligible unfortunately. But let's see if we can get a little bit of use out of the tornado. Put on Bennett ult and then group them all up. There we go. And then they all get Pyro applied, we just Tartaglia ult in it, and they all die. So the tornado can definitely be used for smaller ads similar to a Venti ult, though much less effective. It does strip weaknesses, or it does strip elemental resistances a lot nicer than Venti's ult, with the inherent 20% of it. And now let's test him on some stronger enemies, which do move around a lot. It is nice that he does not get knocked back while casting his E, as that would really make it a difficult ability to use. Stripping their hydro resistance for Tartaglia would also not be a bad idea. Get a quick shot. Or do these react with water because they're the Fatui agents? Oh, they're stuck. Oh, they can actually be tornado? That is a bit of a surprise to me, as I thought they were heavy enemies. And with that, Abyss 9. So what can we conclude from this? Well, the Traveler on his own just simply isn't very strong, and he can be a little bit clunky to use. But I think if we figure out some more tech, improve both my gameplay and my build, I can seriously make this character become quite strong. And he can strip resistances really well. It's just that the tornado, it's awkward to use. So I'm hoping to show you a complete parallel to this gameplay in the future. And one piece of tech that I think could improve the gameplay a little bit and which you can experiment around is getting my ultimate stuck. So my ultimate is good in the stats, but it's weird to use it. It's a small forward moving tornado. But if you put down an object like Zhongli's pillar and you tornado into it, your tornado will get stuck on the pillar. And like this you can constantly proc it for the majority of its duration. I think techniques like this and further that we can discover on the Traveler will make him and enable him to become the strongest Traveler in Teyvat.